Hi everyone, my name is Juliet and I will be reading the 7th chapter of The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahme. So let's get started. The Further Adventures of Toad. Toad woke up early. Sitting up, he rubbed his eyes first and his cold toes next. He wondered where he was. Then, with a leap of his heart, he remembered everything. Remembered his escape, remembered the train ride, remembered that he was free. Free! The word and the thought alone were worth 50 blankets. Warm now, he shook himself and marched forth into the sun, hungry but hopeful. After some miles, Toad reached a main road. Far in the distance he saw a motor car approaching. Hoping for a ride, Toad stepped into the road. Suddenly his knees turned to water and he collapsed. The car was the same one that he had stolen at the inn. The motor car stopped next to him and the two gentlemen jumped out. One of them called to the two women in the car, "How sad! This poor woman has fainted. Let's take her into town. She must have friends there." The men tenderly lifted Toad into the back seat and proceeded on their way. Toad drifted back to his senses, knowing that he had not been recognized. He cautiously opened one eye and then the other. "Look," said one of the men, "she is better already. How do you feel?" "Thank you kindly, sir," said Toad in a feeble voice. "I'm feeling much better. If I could sit in front next to the driver with the air on my face, I would soon be all right." They carefully helped Toad into the front seat. Toad tried to beat down the old urges that he was feeling. "Please, sir," he said, "I've been watching you carefully. Can I drive? I like people to tell my friends that I drove a motor car." Before anyone knew it, Toad had taken the wheel. At first he drove slowly. "Be careful, washerwoman," the others called out. This annoyed Toad. "Washerwoman?" he cried, as the car leaped to full speed. "No, I am the Toad who always escapes. Sit still and you shall know what driving really is." With a cry of horror, the others all tried to take the wheel, but the Toad sent the car crashing through a hedge. One mighty bound, and the car splashed into a muddy pond. Toad flew through the air and landed on his back with a thump in the soft, rich grass of a meadow. Sitting up, he saw the car in the pond, nearly submerged. His four occupants were floundering angrily in the water. Toad picked himself up and ran as hard as he could across the meadow. In the distance he could hear shouting and the wail of a police siren. Crashing through the brush, he suddenly realized that there was no earth beneath his feet. Splash! He had run straight into the river. He rose to the surface, tossed this way and that by the current. Struggling, he saw he was being carried toward a dark hole in the bank. As the water swept him past, Toad reached out and grabbed on the edge of the hole. With the last of his strength, he pulled himself out of the water. As he rested, he saw some bright small thing twinkling in the hole, moving towards him. A face gradually appeared around them, a small brown face with whiskers, neat little ears, and silky hair. It was Rat. That was the 7th chapter of The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahme, and I hope you had a good time hearing it today.